I got a fun college football list of the unbreakable records. Did you see this story?
I have not looked at this.
The unbreakable records in college football. It's a really cool list. So we'll have some fun today. We'll preview the NBA Finals tonight. Does it end tonight? That'll be the question we'll all be asking. But here's the worst thing that happened to Arkansas. It happened when nothing else in the world's going on. I mean, nothing. I mean, the NHL's over. The NBA didn't play last night. It's the 2 weeks a year the NFL isn't in the news.
Mm-hmm. We're not talking about Dak Prescott's legacy.
We're right. So God bless Arkansas. Rarely is college baseball going to ever lead SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt, other than maybe the championship. And even then, but because there's nothing else, the greatest meltdown you'll ever see was last night. And I felt for Arkansas. Let me tell you, for people that didn't see it, I was watching live. JJ, were you watching it at the time?
No, I'm watching the hottest team in baseball, the Atlanta Braves.
The scorching hot Atlanta Braves.
I saw the highlights, but I was not watching them.
I'm watching live Arkansas, who's very good, playing LSU. It's in the Final Four of the College World Series now. These 4 teams left. Actually, by the time the game was played, 3 teams were left. Coastal was already in the final series. The LSU-Arkansas winner. If LSU won, they had to play again tonight. If Arkansas had won, they played again tonight. If LSU won, they moved on, which is what happened. Arkansas is up 5-3 in the ninth. First and second, 1 out. Ball hit the short. Now, it was 1 step to his right. The shortstop, by the way, Wahiva Aloy, he's a first-round draft pick. He's a first-rounder. I mean, he's a really good player. He's their best player. He's probably going to go, I think in the mocks, he's 15, 16, 17, somewhere in the first round. Takes 1 step to his right. Ball's hit hard. Now, again, it was to his right, but you field it, double plays in order. And in college baseball today, it's not that different than professional baseball. They were going to turn it. In all likelihood, you were going to turn the double play. I mean, it's not a surprise when a college team turns it the way it's no longer a surprise when a major league gets a double play ball, it's a double play. Instead, Hayes, of going to second, double play, ball game over, he throws to third to get the lead runner. In a 2-run game where that runner meant nothing. His run meant nothing. You're up 2, throws to third, gets to fourth. It was shocking. Best player on the team, one of the best players in college baseball. Next guy up hits a line drive to left field. The left fielder, God bless him, some guy named Charles Davallon, who nobody would have ever heard of, ever, and would have never known who Charles Davallon was, comes up, slips, not only misses it, doesn't hit it, but it hits off his shoulder and goes flying into foul territory. 2-run score to tie the game. The next guy hits a line drive off the second baseman's glove, and LSU wins.
Yeah, half an inch lower, and he's probably out.
That's right. And
they go to extras.
But Davallon, who misplayed the ball and left, was seen crying after the game. The whole team apparently ran out to support him afterwards. But I'm thinking, that was the biggest story in sport. Some dude named Charles Davallon, who I have no idea if he's any good. I mean, he starts for Arkansas. He must be pretty good, right? Who I have no idea if he's a pro prospect. Nobody's ever heard of him. He will forever be the guy. He will forever be the guy that dropped the ball. And I thought to myself, I went back and watched it 2 or 3 times. I didn't even care who won. I mean, I was kind of sort of rooting for Arkansas because they've never won. LSU's got a bunch of titles, and I would root for Arkansas against Coastal because Coastal's not some Cinderella. They're a really good program. I was shocked at the way it happened. We'll talk later on the program about like the greatest chokes in sports. I got a list, but
Arkansas
2018,
same thing,
which I was unaware of. So explain that.
No, I don't know the details.
Well, it's top of the ninth. They're up by 1 against Oregon State. Like literally 2 outs in the ninth. There's a guy on third base. There's a pop fly in foul territory, but like you make that catch 99 out of 100 times. And I guess like the second baseman overran it.
And it just dropped.
And they ended up losing that game.
And they were like a out away from the national championship.
Yeah. And so again,
Oregon State.
And I'm just thinking.
And Arkansas football has Clint Stoner fumbling with, he was like he put possessed or something.
Clint Stoner put the ball on the ground to balance himself and forgot to pick it back up.
Yeah.
He used the
minor
ball.
detail.
What game was that?
Against Tennessee. It was the year Tennessee won the national title.
In 1998, in fact, Brian, there's a story, there's a movie about Brian Burlsworth, who's the guard who later passed away, a very spiritual guy, that missed the block on that play. Everyone knows Sterner fumbled the ball, but apparently this really good All-American offensive lineman missed the block on that play, which is what caused it to happen. And so,
all the comments on YouTube I'm watching now, they're all, Grader brought me here. I just watched Grader today, and I'm watching this game.
Yeah, I mean,
God bless YouTube, by the way.
But even this year, the Texas Tech comeback in basketball. Arkansas makes this run through the NCAA basketball tournament, and somehow miraculously found a way to lose to Texas Tech.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, so being an Arkansas fan, good gracious. I mean, can you imagine? But anyway, this poor kid, Charles Davalon, will forever be known. Forever. He'll forever be known. There's a LSU.
You think more him than the shortstop?
I do, because baseball people, if you're a baseball person, you understand the shortstop made a gigantic mistake. If you're just common fan watching the Scott Van Pelt Sports Center show, all you saw the shortstop do is pick it up and throw it to third and get the out. You saw the left fielder trip over his own feet, ball hit him in the shoulder and goes flying into foul territory. So it'll be a more memorable play. To me, the more egregious error is the shortstop. I mean, in fairness to the left fielder, he slipped.
Right.
It's a line drive right at you.
One is a mental error.
Yeah.
That's why it would be hard for me to put the loss on him.
No, I agree with you. But I'm telling you, non-baseball guys, someone's not a sports fan, you see this guy slipping, tripping over his feet, and then it looked goofy because it took off flying. It's not like he dropped right. If he just drops it and drops at his feet, the guy on first doesn't score. The guy on second might score, but the guy on first doesn't score. But because the ball caromed,
it was
and so
it was 30 feet away from him.
Yeah, right. So, but anyway, again, and by the way, Wahaiva Aloy, in all likelihood, I hope I'm saying his name right. In all likelihood, will have a very good professional career. He's a shortstop that can run and hit with power, and he's going to be taken in the first round. He'll have his moments. Charles Davalin, if he's any, and I have no idea if he's any good. This is what he will be known for.
What do you think that you think the shortstop, he was a little
he took a step
shielded.
Yeah.
So do you think maybe he was concerned that second base wasn't covered? Because it was a hard hit ball.
When a ball's hit to your right, you're not sure. The double play's harder to turn. It's one step to his right. So I think he was, number one, you should know. You're probably thinking before the ball's hit, what are you going to do? Well, if the ball's hit to my right, I'm going to third. I think he probably was thinking that before the ball was even hit. If the ball's hit to my right, I'm going to third. But you knew the minute he did it. It was hit hard enough. They even showed one of the views that the camera had. You couldn't even see the hitter in the picture yet.
I was going to say
the left field view.
He was still almost in the box.
It would have been a double play.
Yeah.
Barring an error,
correct.
It would have been a double play. And so, but I think he just made up his mind. Ball hit to my right, I'm going to third. Somebody, because people are cruel. I think it's an Arkansas fan. I'm not making. I just saw this on X, on Twitter, X, whatever it's called now. A guy did every ground ball hit to him in his career with runners on first and second and a ball to his right. Every ball. And only once has he ever gone to third in that same series. And it's his career. Now, who goes and finds all those videos? I'll never know.
A tortured soul.
I saw it. And only one other time has he ever gone to third in that situation.
And it was last night.
No. Only one other time has he ever done it before last night. And
wow.
So, but I'm watching. I'm thinking
Arkansas might have the case for being the most snake bit.
Really, I mean, they really are
program because it's hard to come up with three. Have one in each major sport that you can easily. I mean, the Clint Stoner thing to me feels like it happened 4 days ago. Right. I mean, it's shocking that play is 27 years old.
And guys, the reason guys like us gripped on that is we don't want to see Tennessee win the damn title.
Right. I was pulling for Arkansas.
Yeah, and because that's a year, again, angry Gator fan, Florida outplayed them for 59 minutes.
Right.
John Capel's toenail stepped on the sideline on a kick return. Not that I'm still bitter. Okay. That was good. Instead of scoring, Florida misses a field goal. Tennessee makes the field goal, and Tennessee win. Nothing now to give Tennessee credit. They won all their games, and they had an NFL defense.
They did, but they got very lucky that Florida State didn't have Chris Weinke for the national title.
So as a tortured soul, I remember the Clint Stoner too. But I mean, realistically, even that happened and all those things happened while the sports world, all stuff's going on in the sports world. Last night, there's nothing happening. I mean, Charles Davilan, I keep looking down his name because I keep forgetting what it is. Charles Davilan, he got to be the first name that Scott Van Pelt said. I mean,
wow.
I mean, welcome to the world. It's just a cruel world, you know. And for all I know, he might be a good outfielder. But I mean, what I tell you, so much so that I woke up and went back and watched it again. And what are the chances of even me, baseball guy, going back and watching LSU Arkansas again? Well, there's nothing else on, you know. And poor kid. It's a shame the hockey wasn't the same night.
Right.
You know, if it had been one night earlier, he's the fourth story because there's 3 hockey stories. There's 3 stories about Florida winning and Connor McDavid losing in Canada since 1993 and all this. And then about 20 after, they get to Charles Davilan, okay? Well, guess what? He was right out of the gate. I mean, it's crazy.
When Charles woke up today and saw a video of Adrian Peterson fighting in a poker tournament, he was like, whew, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, even Sophie Cunningham didn't Cunningham didn't beat him to the
By the way, I'm a huge fan of her.
Me too.
Huge fan
I just found out about her. And
huge fan of Sophie Cunningham.
Did you see where her jersey sales, they've all sold out?
Yeah. Well, I've requested 1,000 of them, so
you helped the cause. So anyway, all right, we got a lot of things to talk about today on the program. I do want to get to some fun college football stats, the most unbreakable records of college football. We'll talk about the finals, the NBA finals. Does that end tonight? We'll certainly get to that coming up in the program as well. I am going to weigh in on the Sophie Cunningham thing because everybody's talking about that. We'll get to that coming up in the program. A neat story I saw today, or a comparison: Brian Thomas Jr. versus Malik Neighbors. Have you seen the numbers? You've seen the numbers compared.
Yeah.
Who's better? Well, don't answer.
Okay.
Yeah, don't answer. Don't answer. Okay.
Brian Mully.
Okay. Don't answer. But you know, not that we're not biased when we answer. Not that there's a great deal of suspense in our answers here.
Right.
But it is an interesting topic.
They're both great players.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff to get to. But let's kick it off with golf. Lee Smith's here. He's the executive director of the Players Championship and our golf analyst. What a time in golf. We're all still buzzing a little bit from what happened at Oakmont. We'll talk about that and more when we continue. It's 1010XL. And 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Feel the downforce of 100 horses.
You see him shaking as he goes down Long Pond straightaway.
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway, NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right. Dan, I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily's Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily's Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Where does Northeast Florida buy cars? Arlington Toyota. Why Arlington? Selection. Arlington has over 800 new and used vehicles all in one location with everyday low prices. Plus, right now you choose a pre-owned 2023 Camry, RAV4, Tacoma for $0 down and only $388 per month. Or how about no payments till January 2026? Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter-mile east of 295, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
I'm 1010XL's media mogul, Dan Hicken, and before the weekend hits, I break down what to watch and where to be. Catch Musings with the Media Mogul on YouTube and Facebook, provided by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Need the right tools for the job without the full-time price tag? Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach is what you need when you need it. From heavy machinery for commercial projects to weekend projects at the house, we've got you covered. We've been serving Jacks for 50 years. Visit Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach, just behind Aqua East Surf Shop, or call today. We also have event rentals too. Tucker Equipment Rentals. Tools you need without the price tag of purchasing.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
We thank our friends from Stanley Pools, the best in the business. It has been since 1988. They've done our pool. They've redone it. They service our pool, too. The best in the business, my friends, from Stanley Pools. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carlin, JJ LaSelva, Lee Smith is here, the executive director of the Players Championship and our golf analyst. Whew, what a finish. What a finish on Sunday. God, I mean, it's exhilarating for all of us. How about you who works in the business and knows way more about it than any of us? What was it like watching it for you?
No, it was fantastic. I mean, to see, JJ come off, and obviously selfishly from a Players Championship standpoint, a runner-up at the Players Championship, losing to Rory in that playoff, and, seeing him speak about what he learned, maybe in two ways, what he learned from the Players Championship loss or took away from how he felt
kind of in a pressure-packed situation like that. But then to make the bogeys that he did, like it almost like a lesson in life, right? to get off to the start that he did, but just hang in there, make some pars, know that everybody's going to make bogeys. He just made his early. And then to come down 18, hit the shots, the drive that he did on 17 to make birdie, the drive that he hit on 18, which almost seems like that's a rite of passage to win at Oakmont, is to hit the tee shot with a cut.
Right.
Cabrera and Dustin Johnson and him hit the fairway. And then to get a little teach on that putt to make it a lot easier, and then obviously to throw it around the hole and to get lucky, which he probably deserved with some unlucky breaks earlier in the round. No, it was thrilling to watch.
Pretty amazing.
It was an incredible performance by J.J. Spaun, but I can't get over Scheffler and how this week was a testament to his greatness, because he didn't do anything right. I mean, he couldn't find the fairway the first 2 days, so he was constantly scrambling, but was able to at least make the cut where some elite players didn't, and stay in. And then he couldn't buy a putt. Was missing routine putts.
3-footers, 4-footers.
And he still finished T7th.
Yeah.
It's just, if he'd played at a B- level, he'd have won the U.S. Open.
I think you're exactly right, Hayes. It's funny. I was actually watching the telecast of the Travelers about an hour ago, and it might have been Kurt Byram or somebody that mentioned, that he doesn't. Scotty, I almost look at him as being underrated this year, if that's weird to say, because he even mentioned on the telecast just an hour ago that Scotty doesn't have the wins this year.
Yeah.
That he would, and I'm like, he won $10 million in May.
Right. He won more than the Rockies, right?
He got off to a injured start, missed a month, let's say, and then he won $10 million in May. I think he's, maybe not to his level, but he's having a pretty darn good season, trending towards 5, 6, 7 wins. And so you're exactly right. Not to have anywhere near an A game and still finish top 10 in a major championship and a U.S. Open that, was played over difficult circumstances, difficult golf course. Some would say fair, some would say unfair in certain ways with the rough, but no, he's just, he's number one for a reason, far and away number one.
And the best number one in a while. You're exactly right. I'm going to go back to Spaun for a second. A couple of questions. First of all right, you've played obviously a lot of tournament golf. Lee, you're 64 and a half feet away, and you got to get down in 2, all right? Do you want to lag it? He looked like he was aggressive. For you, take me through this if that's you. I'm afraid I'm going to leave it short because I know I don't have to make it. So what goes through your head then? These are the greatest players in the world. I know that they're different than us, but still, what goes through your mind? 64 feet away, a long bender but you only have to get it down in 2. Take me through the thought process.
Look, I think it's one of the hardest things to do in golf. I equate it to playing in a partner game.
Yeah.
Right, where it's 2-on-2, your partner's out of the hole, all you have to do is 2-putt from 20 or 25 feet. You tend to feel more pressure just trying to 2-putt
right
than you do trying to make it or being aggressive. And I have to think that he was so focused on watching Victor Hovland, hit that putt. And I think he even mentioned in his press conference that he saw that Victor was aggressive with it and only rolled it 4 feet by. So he knew he had to, get aggressive. Obviously, he showed him the line. And so he was really focused on that putt. But I also have to think that he looked in his mind and said, hey, and he mentioned another thing about when he's practicing around with his caddy playing $100 makes for putts of that length, that's kind of what was going through his mind, is that he needed to be aggressive, not think about all I got to do is 2-putt, because that's when you leave it 6 feet short or you beat it 6 feet long. I think he just kind of trained himself that, hey, this is I just saw how to do it, and let's be aggressive with this putt, and the hole and the flag got in the way.
Yeah, and because I'm thinking you said it right. If you're just playing a buddy's game of golf, if you got to make it, there's almost less pressure because you're not going to make it. You're not expected to make it. But if you're trying to 2-putt, there is pressure. There's pressure not to.
One of the hardest things to do, especially from long range. Yeah.
So there's a second question about Spaun. So tell me about guys like this. He's 34 years old. He's been grinding all this time. He found something. We saw it here, obviously. So he's found something. He played well before he got here, and then played great here and almost won. And then he won. And does the light just go on? Is it all these years of grinding that finally something happens? How do you assess that all of a sudden J.J. Spaun just won the U.S. Open?
I feel like a trigger gets flipped that you learn that you belong, and you learn where you belong in kind of the hierarchy of the tour at these events. You know, I mean, he won the Valero. I think he mentioned the story about maybe it was Jordan Spieth or somebody that had a bunker shot. Maybe Corey Connors, somebody that had a bunker shot that he was able to look at a line that helped him to win Valero. So it was kind of, deja vu with Victor Hovland showing him the line. But I think what maybe, I always question when players say what I learned from a loss. They never can pinpoint it, but they always say that they learned something. And I feel sometimes like a player like that learns that, hey, at the highest level in the biggest events, I'm able to compete, and I should be there, so that when I get there again, I don't feel the same way that I did the first time. I feel the way that I belong here. It's not a surprise.
Yeah.
And because before the Players' Championship, he mentioned numerous times that, hey, everybody thought Rory was going to win. Everybody wanted Rory to win. All of those types of things. I think he probably went into that back nine after shooting 40 or 41 or whatever he shot on the front. Thinking, hey, I just hang around. I belong here. I've been here before. Let's just hang around and see what happens at the end. And the rain delay obviously was a blessing for him.
And he said that, he's even to Lee's point. I'm thinking back, even when he flew 17 in the playoff here, even when he hit it over 17. Do you remember the look on his face? He was surprised. He thought he was going to win the tournament.
At first, he didn't know where it went.
That's right.
Yeah. Because he knew he hit a good shot.
Yeah, that's right. So so he wasn't. To your point about confidence and thinking he belonged, you kind of saw that here as well.
Yeah, he's over part a day at the Travelers, so we'll see. And that's to be expected.
Yeah.
I mean, what a week!
The Today Show,
right.
everything else. Yeah,
but some great players really having a fantastic start in Connecticut. So Scheffler is 6 under through 12. But I wanted to ask you about Rory, who's done for the day. He shot a 6 under 64. Forget the off the course stuff, because I don't think he's handled the last 2 months particularly well. But from his game standpoint, I think he shot a 67 or 68 Sunday at Oakmont, a very good final round at Oakmont. And today, to start with a 64, as we get closer to Royal Portrush, which obviously will be very near and dear to Rory McIlroy's heart, do you think we're now starting to see McIlroy kind of come out of that mini slump he was having after winning the Masters?
Yeah, I think it accentuates the fact that golf is hard. Like a couple of bad breaks here and there, a couple of missed putts, and a 67 turns into 72. A top 10 turns into 40th. And it can happen in one day. And if you have 2 days like that, now all of a sudden you're missing the cut and going home versus how tightly packed the U.S. Open was. What was it, 9 shots from top to bottom or something after the cut? Like, we've seen comebacks like that over 2 days numerous times. So I think his game is in pretty good shape. I think it's one of those things that you just want to sharpen up. The one thing about having rough like that is that is it your week that you get decent lies, bad lies, a couple of bad breaks here and there, and he turns, and like you said, it just happened to be Rory's final round was something that if he had that on Friday or Saturday, he'd have been in the mix going into the last day. I think his game's right where he wants to be. Sharpen up a couple of things, and I think he'll contend. And certainly going from a place like Oakmont to a place where 4, 5, 6 under is kind of expected at the Travelers, gives them a little bit of not a week off, but just a different type of golf.
Now that we watched 4 days of Oakmont and gutted it with them, did you like it that it was that hard, that there were that many more bogeys and birdies, and that the rough was impossible? Did you like it better, worse? I mean, I know we talked about this last week, but now that we've watched it, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I think there's a place for every type of golf tournament like that. Like, I think the Waste Management Fan Fest and all of those types of things is great one week, but we wouldn't want it every week. The carnage of a U.S. Open and even par being a driving force to win the golf tournament, I think is something that we like to watch, but we don't want it every week. We want to see players, show elite skill and all of those types of things. So I don't mind it. I think Oakmont is an awesome test. I don't particularly love, when luck is such a factor, hitting the ball in the rough, and sometimes you get a good lie, sometimes you get a bad lie type of thing. I like seeing the skill of a player that's got speed or a steeper golf swing that can handle the rough a little bit better, or those types of things. But I think 1 week a year, it's awesome to watch.
What did you make of Sam Burns not getting relief on 15? It probably wouldn't have mattered, but he does then hit a shot from the fairway, incredibly left, ends up double bogeying. Were you surprised? I was surprised he asked for a second opinion because I can't remember the last time I saw that. But were you surprised at how that situation ended up unfolding?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's tough because, rules say, I think it's rule 16.1 or something. I think rules say that abnormal ground conditions would allow you a drop there. From the TV and some of the videos afterwards, they certainly looked abnormal. But at the same time, I mean, we've got the best rules officials in the game, whether they're, PGA golf professionals or PGA Tour affiliated. And, I think they would give the same ruling. It looks with that fairway sloping left to right and as much water as they got quickly and him being on the right side of the fairway. I would wonder, the question pops up is if that was a left-handed golfer and their feet were further right, would more water have shown up around their feet? Would they have gotten, because it's not that I press down and all of a sudden water comes up, is there water visible when you're taking a normal stance typically, to provide those abnormal ground conditions. So, it all of a sudden comes down to a little bit of subjectivity. And I think it was good that the rules officials agreed between the two of them that gave them but at the end of the day, you don't want conditions like that to determine a poor shot. You want the player to be able to determine, and probably a little bit of water getting between the face and the ball, didn't help. That's for sure.
Last thing, and I'll ask you this obviously a few more times, obviously after the final major. But it's been a good year for golf, hasn't it? I mean, golf. Do you feel like you're in the business, but I feel like as a fan of golf, it's been a really good Scheffler, Rory early on, the playoff at the Players, and I feel like it's been like an elite year for golf. Do you feel that way?
Well, Frank, I think I could go on and on about, a word that really floats around as a PGA Tour employee around our building is momentum.
Yeah.
And momentum in a lot of ways. Obviously, ratings being 10, 12% up, throughout the year. Number one, our best players playing well, which certainly tends to help ratings. Obviously making some changes in our broadcast formats and shots shown, and listening to our 50,000 fan surveys that we've received that have adjusted that. And then, as you know, that this week I think the PGA Tour got stronger by what better person can an organization hire than the second in charge at the NFL.
Yeah.
To in Brian Rolap to take our organization and the PGA Tour into the future. I mean, it's the things that he's done in growing the brand of the NFL. He's super excited. He was in the building yesterday. I think that shows a lot of a lot of excitement on his part. I think a couple of things that he mentioned that excited him about this opportunity was the global nature of the sport. Which he said, he goes, we say we're global at the NFL, but the golf is really global.
Right. That's right.
Fans playing golf and those types of things is really global. He loves the momentum that the sport has. He loves that the sport is growing. Not every sport can say that it's growing in a lot of ways. So I think you're exactly right. From the start of the year to now, the fact that momentum is at our backs here at the PGA Tour, I think it's an exciting thing going forward, and we've got a tour championship format change, slight format change, and maybe some changes long term. So I'm excited to certainly be a part of the PGA Tour, and as we prepare for the Players Championship 2026, excited about being a part of that too.
Yeah, 30 seconds. I'm remiss in not asking about Brian earlier on. I didn't even think about it, but Will there be changes from the way Jay Monahan ran it? I mean, the next guy always makes some changes. I know that, but anything jump off the page yet, or do we have to kind of see how?
I think one of the things that struck me that I think is really important that Brian mentioned is that not everything that he did at the NFL is going to translate to the PGA Tour and to the sport of golf. And he wants to move fast. He wants to innovate, which I think is exciting. But I think he also knows that he's got to sit back and, as somebody that plays golf 5 to 10 times a year, he mentioned, is that he's got a lot to learn. He's got a lot to learn about ball rollbacks and rules and what our tournaments stand for and the traditions of the sport and all of those types of things. And so I think he's made a big point about observing first. And I think the timing's great as it kind of comes to the end of the season. He can attend tournaments and speak to players and those types of things. And then, kind of utilize the off season to start to implement. I don't think in the short term things will look a lot different. But I think his passion to innovate, his experience in media rights and broadcast partners and streaming and all of those types of things just is an opportunity to continue to take the PGA Tour forward.
Yeah, part of that momentum is the brand new hire. You're exactly right. Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players Championship, and of course our golf analyst. Lee, thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Back in a moment. 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
What do you think Dan and Jeff would be doing if they were never hired at 1010XL?
Who are you?
Dan Hicken.
Please call me Mr. Mayor.
And Jeff Prosser.
I always wanted to be a comedian.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Oh, but I think it's very funny. Hilarious.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Big Chief Tire is coming to Mandarin. Frank Frangie here. Join Big Chief Tire for their grand opening event on Friday, June 27th from noon to 5 p.m. for games, food, and fun. Our show's going to broadcast live there, and Big Chief is giving away 4 sets of new tires. Big Chief has served the Jacksonville community with locally owned auto services you can trust since 1961. From tires to brake repairs, oil changes, and more. Stop by 10211 San Jose Boulevard in Mandarin or visit WeKeepJacksRolling.com to schedule an appointment today.
Mike Dempsey here. Look, it's been 10 years that I've been vouching for my guys at Dandy Boots, and for a decade, I'm proud of my association with a local family business. They make a great product. I've made no secret that I was a customer long before Dandy ever came on board on 1010XL. But I'm thinking I'm due a little Dandy swag, maybe a little love. How about a Dandy t-shirt, a ball cap? So how about it, Thompson family? What do you got going on over there? In the meantime, I'm going to keep eating those delicious tuna salad sandwiches. So guys, keep helping me out and grab a Dandy sandwich today.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. This Saturday is our monthly card show inside Showtime from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Beat the heat this Saturday while looking at sports cards or even Pokemon cards. With nearly 20 tables of vendors this Saturday at Showtime, Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
I insist on complete honesty.
You can chime in anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
If you have something to say to me, I wish you would just say it.
Share your opinion.
Are you nuts?
What? 641-1010.
That's crazy. Attention, North Florida. It's time to elevate your game night. Head to Best Bet, your premier destination for poker. With locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine, we have a seat ready for you. Whether you're a seasoned poker player or just starting out, we have you covered with easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker. And it's not just poker. With delicious food, lively bars, and big screen events, there's something for everyone. Visit BestBetJax.com to learn more. That's BestBetJax.com. And ante up for fun.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
It's the event everyone waits for. Now at Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. Now for a limited time, when you buy his wedding band, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. Save up to $10,000. Are you about to get married or been married for years thinking it's time for an upgrade? There's nothing that symbolizes your love more than the wedding band. Beard's has hundreds and hundreds of bands from top designers in white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, platinum, plain bands, channel set bands, pave set, eternity bands. And for men, masculine bands, wide, modern, with and without diamonds, hammered, brushed, engraved, lots of colors. Come to Beard's now and find the wedding band that reflects your style and your personality. Buy one, get the second one free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't or won't do this, but Beard's can. And it's happening now through June 23rd. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Don't miss this opportunity to celebrate your eternal love with the eternal symbol, Beard's Diamonds, at St. John's Town Center.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Plumbing problems? AC not blowing? Septic tank doing whatever septic tanks do? Don't call 3 different companies and play contractor roulette. Just call Duck Rooter. Waddle over to duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, Hammer Time with Hayes. Driven by Kia on Atlantic. Southside Kia is now Kia on Atlantic. Check us out at KiaOnAtlantic.com.
So I put together a Jaguars 53-man roster projection as we await training camp. You can find it at 1010XL.com. I tweeted it out. And it was interesting going through it. First off, the roster turnover is incredible. Now, I kept every draft pick and I kept every free agent of note that they have brought in. I didn't keep Trenton Irwin, the receiver, but for the most part, kept Smoot, certainly kept Agba, and kept everybody in the first wave. And what really stood out is the dramatic roster turnover that has been led by Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, and Tony Baselli. 23 of the players on my 53-man roster are first-year Jaguars. And if you remove the 3 specialists, it's 23 of the 50 players. It's nearly half. I think it's been such a wild off season. It was interesting for me to look at it and kind of some takeaways that I have from it, in addition to the newness of the roster, is areas of depth and areas of concern when it comes to depth. I think they've got good depth at running back, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, and safety. There were some tough cuts at those spots. Cornerback and tight end, I think, are weak positions. Now, obviously, Travis Hunter can change some of that at corner. We'll see how much he helps over there. But I think overall, they're much better positioned to handle attrition on the defensive side of the ball than they are on the offensive side. I don't really like the depth at receiver. In fact, I would say the battle for the 5th and 6th receiver is really tough to draw a winner out of, because once you get beyond Parker Washington, is the 4, with obviously Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, De'Ami Brown as the top 3. It's a grab bag of unknown commodities. So it was interesting to go through it. I love the newness. Really excited to see how that comes together. They got to stay healthy on the offensive side of the ball. And I think defensively, from a depth standpoint, particularly if Travis Hunter can give them, let's say, 40% of the snaps on that side of the ball at a high-quality level, I think they've got a chance to really make a run at the AFC South.
The Hayes' 53 is is available on the website or certainly on his Twitter feed. I'll go quickly. The quarterbacks, obviously, Nick Mullins, the backup. No surprise there. You kept all 4 drafted running backs, Tootin, Etienne, Bigsby, Allen. I would agree with that. I won't get into the offensive line because there's just too many of them. Receivers, your point's a good one. After Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, De'Ami Brown, Parker Washington, what do they do after that? I think we don't know about that. We'll see after that. But I think by and large, I don't sense when they cut, there will be a whole lot of mystery. Maybe some. But I don't think there will be a whole lot of guys who go, whoa, I didn't see him getting cut. I think you do this every year. I'll bet you it was easier this year than the last 3 years you did it.
It was, and it always is going to be easier when it's a new administration because they're going to be more willing.
They went on, got guys that went on the team.
Correct.
Right.
They're going to keep the guys they brought in, and they're going to be more willing to discard draft picks from previous years still on rookie contracts. Like, I don't have Luke Fortner or Javon Foster making the 53. I don't have Chad Muma making the 53. I don't know. I don't have Antonio Johnson making the 53, and I think they're going to either cut or ideally trade Darnell Savage because financially there's no benefit in cutting him. It actually costs them more in dead money than what his cap number is. But I don't know how he fits in, and so maybe they could work out a deal for a 2027 late round pick as we get towards the end of August. But yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see the Trent Baalke drafts, particularly those mid-round guys that are the ones that are still here. I think they're in big time trouble.
All right, one more Jaguar topic. Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, teammates in college. Neighbors drafted a good bit higher. We all know that by now. Who had more receiving yards?
Well, Brian Thomas Jr. was 3rd in the NFL, so I'm going to go with him.
Who had more receiving touchdowns?
I'm going to go with BTJ.
Who had more yards per catch?
BTJ.
Okay. Neighbors had more catches because there weren't as many options. But
because Neighbors was like the focal point of their passing game in week 1.
Yeah,
Thomas didn't get that here until after Halloween.
Malik Neighbors is a really good player. I'm not sure he's a better player than Brian Thomas Jr.
I would take Brian Thomas Jr.
I think I would too. And
I love them both.
Yeah,
but I would take Brian Thomas Jr.
And I'm biased as heck, and I know that, and we tend to be biased. And heck, hey, shame on us if we're not a little bit biased on this kind of stuff. But I think Brian Thomas Jr. is so good. I think he's so explosive. I mean, Neighbors can be a return guy in time if you want him to be. He's versatile.
I wouldn't do that.
But he could be. He's that guy. He was a return guy forever at LSU. You know my point. He can do. But the point is, I think Brian Thomas Jr. I would take him too. And again,
the other thing too is we don't cover Neighbors, so I have no idea what he's like as a person.
Yeah, he's a very good player.
He's a very good player, but I have no idea Malik Neighbors, his mental makeup.
Right.
We've gotten a very good read on Brian Thomas Jr., and you could not have a better demeanor to be a superstar than Brian Thomas Jr.
Correct.
I mean, humble, works hard, pro's pro in terms of how he approaches everything in his life. So, again, I don't know that Malik Neighbors may be like that too, but I can tell you he's not better than Brian Thomas Jr. from the mental standpoint because you couldn't be.
Even without meeting, 100%. Even without meeting him, he couldn't be. So we'll see. I with all this Travis Hunter talk, I think Travis is going to be wonderful. With all the attention given Tony and Gladstone and Liam, the triumvirate that run this thing now, and they're going to be fantastic. With all the talk about Trevor healthy, taking the next step, with all the talk about Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker now being in a defense that fits them better, everything we've talked about in the offseason. we probably haven't talked much about Brian Thomas Jr. We just hasn't been in the conversation very much. That's no one's disrespecting him, but he's a great freaking player. I mean, he might wind up, and I know it's only been 1 year, but he might wind up being one of the best players in the NFL. I don't mean just one of the best receivers in the NFL. I think he's that now. He might wind up being one of the best players in the league. How about that?
Yeah, I mean,
think about that for a second.
Without a doubt. I mean, what I keep coming back to is what's the counterpunch that the league's going to throw at him that's going to derail him? Health could derail him, obviously, but that's for any player. So once you throw out that caveat of the injury concern, what's the counterpunch going to be? He's got a better offensive mind, in my opinion, now than he did last year, coaching him. He's last year had pretty much 60% Trevor Lawrence, 40% Mac Jones. You'd like to think he's not going to have that again. And he enters week 1 as the guy that Liam Cohen is going to try and get targeted 15 times in a game, whereas he didn't get that until the second half of last season. And so to me, it's like, and I think his skill set, Liam Cohen's talked about, the fact that he can operate out of the slot, I mean, it's going to be awfully difficult for teams to take him away from Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence. And so, again, and the other thing that I would be worried about is his demeanor. Can he handle it? But every indication that we've ever gotten from Brian Thomas Jr. is he absolutely can handle superstardom and not get complacent and not get full of himself. So I don't see, again, other than health, which applies to every player in this league, when you talk about the counterpunch to slow him down, I don't see it. Not saying it doesn't exist, but I don't see what it would be.
Yeah, look, 100% agree with that. Look, here's the bottom line. He's really fast. He's got really good hands. He runs really good routes. He's really tough.
Smart player.
He's smart. He knows how to play, and he's a good teammate. There's a lot of guys.
Wants to play physical.
Yeah, we'll watch Zay Jones or Christian Kirk and talk about how smart they are. We'll watch other guys and talk about how fast Travis Etienne, how fast he is. We'll talk about other guys Justin Blackmon. Remember him? He was a physical receiver. We'll talk about we'll take a trait for a big physical receiver and how physical he is. How about this guy? He can go high point balls. Calvin Johnson can go high point balls. And boy, Tyreek Hill runs by everybody. He's really fast. Brian Thomas kind of has all those things. Yeah, if you really think about it, he's the guy that hits with power and hits for average and steals bases.
He's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. He really. That's right.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah, and I'll bet
he's in that.
Yeah.
He's not there yet, but he's got the makeup of that kind of player
because he's got all those things. It'll be fun. And again, I saw the Neighbors comparison today, and I'm thinking, with all the other stuff going on,
if it was flipped and Neighbors played here and Brian Thomas Jr. played in New York.
Yeah, great point.
Brian Thomas Jr. would be on every third commercial that you see during NFL programming.
Hard to argue. I totally agree with that. We'll take a break. When we come back, I got some fun college football records. Some that will never be broken. One, Gator related, way back in the day.
What era?
I can't tell you, but I'm going to tell you because if I tell you, you know the record. So I'm not going to tell you that I promise you will never be broken. I'm going to give you a Gator record that I promise you will never be broken.
Wow.
That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Mike Dempsey.
Bigger, stronger, and a lot meaner than you. Plus,
he gives you everything you need to know about your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome to the jungle, tough guy.
10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
You don't know what's out there.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise, free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, and hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Spend an evening with heart. One night, 2 sets. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. June 24th, St. Augustine Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com. Don't miss an evening with heart live.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is thrilled to announce you can get all of their flavors and original vodka at PJ Liquors in St. Augustine. PJ Liquors, since 1999, has been serving up summertime fun. Now enjoy Brackish Vodka, the #1 local vodka in North Florida. Brackish Vodka is the first clean craft vodka, and you can find their 9 flavors at PJ Liquors. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Mia O'Brien.
Don't I know you from somewhere? On Helmets and Heels, noon to 2.
I swear to you, I know her.
Then there's the 1010XL video and social media channels.
I would know her voice anywhere.
All Things Mia is driven by Arlington Toyota.
On 1010XL.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacks Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacks Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference. For 100 years, service you can trust. Lee and Kate's Glass, depend on us. Glass solutions to meet your needs. Reliable quality guaranteed. Complete customer satisfaction. With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Baseball
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball at the newly renovated 5-Star Ballpark is your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by First Coast YMCA. In some big-time Major League Baseball news, Dreamfinders Homes founder and CEO and Jacksonville native Patrick Zalupski has placed a bid to purchase the Tampa Bay Rays for the team's principal owner Stuart Sternberg for a price of $1.7 billion. Sternberg purchased the Rays in 2004 for $200 million. The deal is not yet in agreement, but is most definitely something to keep an eye on in the near future. More dominoes are falling in the Gators' 2026 recruiting class, with the most recent commitment coming from 4-star cornerback C.J. Brono. Brono decommitted from Matt Rule and the Nebraska Cornhuskers on Tuesday, then just a day later committed to Coach Napier and the Gators. Brono says his relationship with first-year cornerbacks coach Darren Wilson was a big reason for his commitment. It's 87 degrees at 5:01. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air Plumbing. Stay cooler with
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline with you as we continue along here. The
little rat for you. How about that?
You're wondering what record, by the way, aren't you? Still wondering, aren't you?
I know what record this is. It's invasion of privacy.
I meant what college record, but it's well done, well played, as a matter of fact. We're going to talk a little college football's greatest records, the ones that are almost impossible to break. You have any idea what Florida one I'm talking about?
I do not. I haven't looked at this, so it's I'm going to be flying blind.
What if I told you it happened in the 60s?
Happened in the 60s?
That may be wrong. It's either late 60s or early 70s.
Is it Reeves's interceptions?
It's got to be.
Yeah.
You know how many he threw?
7?
9.
9. Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean,
what's the backup quarterback doing on the side? Coach, I'm warm.
In one game?
Yeah. He threw 9 in a game.
No way.
Coach, I'm ready.
No one's ever touched that record.
It looks like John's kind of having some trouble.
He threw 9. And John Reeves, the wonderful man, God rest his soul.
He's a great player.
He was a fantastic first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
And great player.
Yeah,
but,
great player.
He was, and you know this, he was Layla Kiffin's, he was Lane Kiffin's father-in-law.
Correct.
Because Layla, and by the way, are they back together? Did I see?
I don't know.
I think
Lane and Layla are back together?
I think they're back together after all the divorce and all the years.
How about that?
Yeah, I think they're back together.
It's like JR and Sue Ellen Ewing.
I guess it is, but anyway.
I think they were like married and divorced 7 times on that show that I used to watch with my grandparents.
Dude, he threw 9 interceptions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not getting touched.
Yeah,
I'm guessing they lost.
Yeah. They did lose. They lost to Auburn.
What's funny is Warfel had, how many did they throw in the win over Kentucky? Now that was 2 guys, right?
Well, Warfel and Terry Dean, 4-3.
4-3.
I was at that game. But but here's what I'm doing. At about interception number 8, I'm gonna start running. I'm running the ball. Yeah. What are you calling me?
Right.
You're down 50. You guys throwing 8 interceptions. You know what I'm thinking? It's all play.
Yeah. Can you imagine in this day and age if a guy threw 9 interceptions with the backup quarterbacks, how fast they would be in the portal the next morning?
Exactly right. All right, let me give some others. Oklahoma has a 47-game winning streak, never be broken.
That will never be broken.
That's number 1 on the list. Do you know how many yards Barry Sanders had in the 1 year?
2,600?
2628.
Wow. It'll never get touched.
It'll never get.
There's more games now, but so that helps. But boy, that's a lot of yards.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that's getting broken.
Florida State finished in. This is the 3rd best record according to Chris Lowe. His first 2 were the 47 straight wins by Oklahoma and Barry Sanders 2,600 yards. Number 3 is Florida State. Florida State,
yeah, as it should be,
finished in the top 5. Actually, the top 4, but he calls it the top 5. 14 straight years. Think about that for a second.
It's remarkable.
I mean, honest to God, it may be
playing tough schedules.
Yeah.
I mean, they scheduled tough games. They weren't in the ACC,
right?
But they, we've looked at some of those, years and who they were playing. Right. I mean, so it wasn't like they coasted.
Yeah,
it's a remarkable record.
Yeah, but and
it will never be broken.
All right, number 5 on the list, John Reeves.
Wow,
of the top 10 most unbreakable records ever in college football, it's number 5 on the list. He threw 9 interceptions, and it was in 1969. By the way, they were very good. They were 9-1-1 that year. Back in, they had a really good team.
Yeah, I mean, the only player I would keep in if that was happening is DJ Lagway.
Yes, you would. They lost 38-12 to Auburn, and again, he was a sophomore, and John Reeves left in 1971. By the way, he was college football. Did you know this? College football's all-time leading passer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When he left at the time was 7,500 yards, but he threw 9 interceptions in one game. And Steve Spurrier, I can remember when Spurrier got the job, and Reeves was on his staff. Mm-hmm. Carl Franks, Bob Sanders, Jim Collins, legendary staff.
Mm-hmm. Dwayne Dixon,
right? They're all on the staff, and they would wear Reeves out about it. If Reeves would ever play catch before practice, don't throw the other guy, John. Spurrier told me one time, if John would ever quit letting it bother him, we'd stop. Yeah. But he never did.
That's the first rule.
That really is. So, anyways, I've got a couple of Marcus Allen's amazing run.
Is Herschel on this list anywhere?
I don't see.
Does Herschel not have I would think Herschel's got to have some. Well, although he was only there for 3 years, and we know Barry Sanders has the 2,600 yard season, so maybe not.
So it's got a Patrick Mahomes here. Patrick Mahomes, by the way.
Oh, yeah, in the Baker Mayfield game?
Yeah.
What is it, like 780 passing yards in a game?
Yeah, 734.
734.
He was 52 of 88 for 734.
Isn't it amazing how he snuck up on 99% of, the NFL?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I know you talk about, Logman loved him.
Right.
And obviously the Chiefs loved him.
But people didn't know.
Yeah, but, when the Chiefs traded up to get him, it wasn't like he was in a free fall. Yeah. I mean, when he kind of went a little higher than people thought he was going to go in that draft.
Right. Oh, no question. Yeah, he went 10th? Is that where it was?
Something like that.
But here's the funny thing about that game. Patrick Mahomes threw for 734 yards and lost.
Yeah, I remember.
They lost the game to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Look,
that was when Big 12 was at its finest. When every game was like 64-58.
I called.
That'd be a fun game to actually go back and watch, particularly now that Baker Mayfield has sort of resurrected his NFL career.
I called a game. I had Toretta and I had an Oklahoma-Kansas game when Kansas was good in that same stretch. Mark Mangino was the coach, and they had a quarterback, Todd Reesing. Do you remember him?
Not really.
Todd, he was
I remember Kansas having.
And I want to say Bradford might have been the Oklahoma quarterback that year. I think it was Bradford. Whatever year it was in that stretch. For 7 years, and that was in that stretch. We had a Oklahoma-Kansas game. I don't remember it was in Norman. I don't remember the final score, but I know Reesing was the quarterback for Kansas. Mark Mangino was the coach. Stoops was the Oklahoma coach. The game was 4 hours and 10 minutes.
Wow.
And Oklahoma had 101 snaps, and Kansas had 96.
Wow.
It might have been this 45-31. Kansas was ranked at the time.
Yeah.
It was in Norman.
What year?
2008.
Yeah, that would have been
October 18th.
That would have been it.
Were you hoarse?
Yeah, I was hoarse, and I was hoarse.
That's a lot to call.
Bradford threw for 488 that day.
What Reesing had to throw?
Yeah, he had 342.
Yeah, so I had that game. We called that game. Oklahoma had 100 snaps. Kansas had 96 snaps. Yeah. I mean, there were 196 plays in the game.
It's like calling a doubleheader.
Okay.
Yeah, Oklahoma total yards 674 to 491 from Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember, and Toretta and I were laughing. We knew when you had one of those Big 12 games, it was going to be like that, but you didn't know how quiet it was. And I'll tell you the best part of that story. Game gets over. Most of these coaches, they go hibernate. They'll do their media, and then they'll go hibernate. Well, Stoops at the time owned a bar in downtown Norman. Did I tell you this story? Have I told you the story before? Stoops owned a bar in downtown Norman. So Bob Stoops. So the game's over. It's 45-30. I didn't remember the score, but so Oklahoma wins the game, and we're done with the game. So Toretta said, "I'm going to text Stoops, congratulations." So he texts Bob Stoops, congratulations, and Bob goes, "Where are you and Frank?" He said, "Well, we're going to drive back. We're staying in Oklahoma City. We're about 40 minutes away. We're going to drive back to Oklahoma City." He said, "Nah, come to the bar." The game has now been over not even an hour. He does it. He does his media, takes a shower. He and Carol go to the bar with one of his brothers, and he's sitting at a high top in a bar on campus. Place is packed, signing autographs, high-fiving right after the game.
That's awesome.
Isn't that a great story?
College football at its finest.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
We went in there and we were just kind of hanging out. We're hanging out with Stoops.
I would have loved for Bob Stoops to have been the Florida coach at some point. It never lined
Most
up.
regular guy ever.
Yeah, but he would have been so fantastic. It's one of those, in another lifetime. But yeah, Bob Stoops, a tremendous football coach.
I can still remember telling Toretta, we're going to go to Stoops' bar. Who's there? He said, Stoops. I said, Stoops is at the bar? He said, he's at the bar.
Like, he's probably got a back room, right?
But that's just it. It wasn't. It was in the middle. It was in the bar.
Yeah.
In the bar area of the restaurant. It was in the bar.
That's
just
awesome.
sitting at a high top with his wife and one of his brothers. And there were only 3 people there, so we kind of hung out with them. And he's sounding like, "Hey, coach, hey!" I mean, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That really is.
I've been around the game forever.
You win a national title in your second year, and you probably are going to be pretty bulletproof.
Yeah. So one other one, and then
I got one too that could fall maybe in a few years that I'm worried about. Obviously, Miami has that 58 game home win streak, but Georgia is in the 30s.
Is that right?
Yeah,
home
and like that
streak.
Georgia Tech game, I was cheering very hard for Georgia Tech to end it at the end of last year. But I mean, in 3 or 4 seasons, they can match that.
How about that?
I think you'll be okay.
I hope.
It's a lot of games.
They still got
the SEC. That's a lot of games.
They still got a ways to go. They've got a lot of tough home games this year. Because remember last year,
they have Texas at home.
I think because I remember last year after I think it was. Did Georgia won the SEC title, right? Didn't they beat Texas? Or why am I?
Texas won.
Texas won? There was some game that Kirby won last year. Are you sure?
I'm not sure.
I think Georgia won the SEC title.
I think they did too.
Yeah, because Kirby's
22-19 in overtime.
Yeah, Kirby's at the podium, and he took a shot at Sankey for all the road games.
That's right, he did.
So now all those road games are in Athens, which is good, but you might lose at home.
In the next 20 home games, someone's going to get
I would think.
They have Bama at home this year.
Someone will get them in.
They have Texas at home this year.
He's lucky the Gators aren't coming to Athens.
Yeah, exactly.
In 27. That game will be in Atlanta,
and they also
followed by a game in Tampa.
Ole Miss as well this year at home.
So that could be the one. One other record, and it's the current Gator record. You know which one it is?
Not being shut out.
Not being
the
shut
streak.
out. Yeah.
It's a total joke, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Total joke.
Which game
didn't they kick a field goal?
Yeah, against Oregon State in the Las Vegas bowl game.
God, you know what?
Yeah.
God bless them for it.
There was
I'll
another
take it.
time, too, where...
I remember we were watching the game, and we were all sitting around saying, just kick the field goal. I want the streak, though. Kick the field goal.
I hate the streak.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want...
Did you want them not to kick the field goal?
At that moment, I probably still wasn't watching the game because I was so disgusted. But I would say, you don't ever want your team to get shut out, obviously. But if Florida, I will say this, this season, let's say, if Florida was getting beat 30-0 by a school, I just assume the streak end. I mean, to me, it's lost all value because they had a game against FSU where the streak survived, I believe, on a safety. I think Florida State went into the swamp and beat them 17-2.
Okay.
1 year. In one of the
27-2.
Maybe it was 27. It was a rout.
Then 15. It was 27-15.
So to me, if the streak survived on a safety, that's dumb. And if you had to also then years later kick a meaningless field goal and getting blown out by Oregon State in a bowl game in Las Vegas, the streak is, to me, yes, it still exists.
Totally disagree.
But I think it's a trash record.
I love the field goal because Florida was so terrible that year. The only thing they possibly could have done to anger all the rivals is kick the field goal. I love the field goal.
Yeah.
It reminds me, by the way, of 1994 when Florida is playing Tennessee. Right, Florida ranked number 1. Spurrier and Fulmer jabbing back and forth. Florida's just beating the hell out of them. Okay, it's raining up there, it's storming up there, and Florida's beating them 31-0. And people are leaving, and Fulmer did not want Steve Spurrier to shut him out, so he lined up for a 31-yard field goal and missed it.
Oh my God!
and Florida won the game.
How long does y'all streak go back?
To 89.
88.
Oh, 88.
In I remember the game. Auburn beat Florida 16-0.
Sounds thrilling.
In game, it was a heck of a game. In game,
it was a Ron Franklin, I believe. Mike Godfrey, Arden.
No. This was 88.
80, but it wasn't that broadcast team. I think I watched the game with my dad.
It was 16-0. Might have been.
Yeah.
But it was 1988. Auburn beat Florida 16-0. Lynn Amity was the coordinator, and Galen Hall was the coach. And Florida has not been shut out since that. I remember the game. Kyle Morris was the quarterback. Florida hadn't been shut out since. Now they get whooped a bunch that year. You know, I want to say FSU beat them 50-something to whatever, but they scored in the game. So that was the last game they didn't score. So but 16-0. So there you go. They scored 461 straight.
Well, you can watch the entire game on YouTube.
Yeah, you can watch them all on.
I just found it. 1988.
To me, it's
16-0.
This is like Florida. Florida puts it in their pregame notes as if it's something to be proud of. I mean, to me, it's a record that just celebrates like something that's completely mediocre. You should be able to score in any game that you play.
I'll take it.
So anyway,
27.
I mean, again, I don't want the streak to end, obviously.
Yeah.
But if Florida is getting routed in the future, I just assume it ends. I think it's a ridiculous record.
In the 27-2 game, I've told you this story before, but I'll say it too. It was in 2015. It, to this day, is the last time I've been to a Florida football game, because I used to go all the time.
Wow.
I used to go all the time, but once I got the Jags gig, it was hard to do both. So I started calling Jags games in 14. So in 15, I went down there to the Florida State game, and I said, I've been in a while. I went to see the Gulf Coast game with a buddy of mine, and I went to see the Florida Gulf Coast basketball game the night before, and then went to the game the next day. And it's early in the game, like late first quarter. Antonio Callaway is, and I'm not exaggerating, 15 yards behind an FSU defensive back. 15 yards, okay? Yeah, I'm not making this up. He's 15 yards behind. Treon Harris threw the ball. It bounced 5 yards behind the defensive back, okay? It bounced behind so 25 yards behind Antonio Callaway, okay? I got up. I was in the press box. I got up. I went down the elevator. I was filling my truck up with gas in Stark at halftime. True story. At halftime.
Beat traffic.
I think there was even a Florida-Georgia game recently. It might have been the McElwain firing the next day game where I think Kirby got heated late because Florida scored to prevent the shutout, and Kirby was aware of the record and wanted to be the one that ended it. And I kind of remember Kirby on the sideline just destroying whatever third-team linebacker gave up the score. Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. Hayes has headlines after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Experience professional grade at Nimnick Buick GMC, home of the largest inventory of GMC Sierras in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. This month, save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500s or enjoy rates as low as 0% APR financing. That's right, 0%. You can't find deals like this anywhere else in Jacksonville. Nimnick also has the largest selection of GMC's impressive SUV lineup, like the all-new redesigned GMC Acadia and the highly sought-after Yukon and Yukon XL. Curious about an EV? Well, you can save big with the all-new GMC Hummer EV, SUV, and truck, plus the all-new GMC Sierra EV. Now with cash incentives, now is the time to take an EV test drive. So shop at Nimnick today. That's Nimnick Buick GMC. Who's got the best prices, the best products? Nobody but Nimnick. We are professional grade GMC.
Backyard barbecues and sunsets that stretch across the St. Johns. Summer on the First Coast. 1010XL, Jacksonville's summer station.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
Jacksonville, Florida. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Get the real story from people who know the beautiful game best. The Coaches Show, presented by Sporting Jacks with Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacy Ballum. Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 AM.
1010XL is a proud supporter of this year's Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament, the largest fundraiser for marine charities. To join the fun July 10th through 19th at the Jim King Park and Boat Ramp, go to kingfishtournament.com.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Have you been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder? You may qualify for a new clinical research study. Dr. Ferdinand Formoso is now enrolling participants to evaluate the effectiveness of a non-opioid medication treatment option for OUD. Qualified participants will receive study-related care at no cost and may be eligible for reimbursement of travel and accommodations. To qualify, applicants must be 18 to 65 years old, have been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder, and have not been on medication to treat opioid use in the last 3 months. The study lasts up to 22 weeks, with weekly visits during treatment. If you're ready to explore a new path forward, visit OUDstudy.com for more details and qualifications. Take the first steps and visit OUDstudy.com. That's OUDstudy.com. OUDstudy.com.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here, as is JJ LaSelva. I am Hayes Carline. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start with the Jaguars. I did a 53-man roster projection, and the thing that stood out to me, not that it's a surprise, but I had 23 first-year Jaguars among the 53, and not counting the 3 specialists, it becomes 23 of 50 players. So basically of your every down-esque players, basically half the roster.
Yeah, and I think, Hayes, I'm not surprised by it. And I think whether you're exactly right or you're off a handful of guys here or there, that's what it's going to be. I think they knew they had to rebuild the roster. I don't think there was any question. Remember, they signed ultimately 11 free agents. Well, if you count Smoot, 12 free agents. They drafted a bunch of guys, and there was a commonly held belief that most of those draft picks are going to make the team. I mean, LaQuinton Allen was drafted very low. Everybody thinks he's going to be on the team. Might be their third down back. So I think it was a wild. I mean, Monheim, the center, was he 7th rounder?
Yeah.
He's going to be on the team.
I think Lane at safety in the 6th round.
Yeah. So because he's a great special teams player. So I think there's a widely held belief that all those guys are going to make the team. You know, the free agents are all on the team. So yeah, I think you're probably right. It is a rebuilt roster in many ways.
Let's get to around the NFL. Kansas City coach Andy Reid says receiver Rashee Rice and offensive tackle Josh Simmons will be full strength for training camp. So the Chiefs, the AFC champ, getting a little healthier.
Yeah, the Chiefs are right in the middle. That dynasty stretch isn't just because they didn't win the Super Bowl. That dynasty stretch isn't taking a year or two off. It's going to continue on. They may win the Super Bowl. They may not. They may win the AFC. They may not. But it's not like Patrick Mahomes is 38, okay? He's right in his prime, man. So that thing's not going anywhere.
No, it is not, unfortunately. Let's get it to the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City tries to secure its first ever world championship tonight as the Thunder travel to the Pacers for Game 6 with a 3-2 lead. The Thunder, a 6.5-point favorite to end it tonight on the road.
Yeah, I think they will. JJ, we talked about this yesterday. Without Halliburton or without a healthy Halliburton, I think the clock's probably going to strike midnight for the Pacers. A tough, hard-nosed, or a feisty Pacers team. JJ, I would think at the end of the road is probably tonight.
I think I'd be more willing to bet on the Pacers without Halliburton just because he looked so, hamstrung. And McConnell looked great. But, I guess if it's the last game of the season, you're going to do everything you can to be out there on that court. I don't blame them. But, I like OKC tonight, -6. I think they'll win pretty easily. I hope I'm wrong, just so we have something this weekend to get excited
I agree
about.
with that.
Yeah, without a doubt, Tyrese Halliburton with the calf strain is expected to play tonight. In terms of loser Monday update, we've got myself with 282 points, Frank, you're at 280. And JJ's at 184. So if the bet ends tonight, is JJ going to Bono's tomorrow, or are we just going to wait until like middle of July?
That's a good question.
Yeah. That's a great question.
We could do it in 2 weeks, and I'll surprise you guys. You'll totally forget about it, and you'll come back from vacation, or we could do 2 in 1 week. It's up to you.
You know what? I'll let you. JJ, since you're making the trip, I'm good either way. Go tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
Okay.
It's just that way we're not waiting all around. And since I've been the last 37 times, I do want to know that even though JJ's going tomorrow, hey, JJ wants to announce that I've lost the Travelers too.
Yeah, he took JJ's spawn.
That's right.
Bad luck.
Let's go. I would say if it ends tonight, let's do it tomorrow.
All right, okay. If it ends tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
I think it ended about 2 games ago, but
Yeah, but we're gonna wait until it's mathematically a done deal. So you might still have 2 games left to work.
And let me just say this, by the way, every time this happens, if you're listening to how it works, the few times Hayes ever loses and the few times JJ's lost, they go right to Bono's, don't think twice. I've gone on such a losing streak. I think the first 2 times it took me 2 weeks to remember to go. So these 2 guys are way better than the Welsher that I seem to be at times.
As long as we get it at some point, that's cool, and you always eventually deliver. But it is funny when JJ, or myself will send you like a text.
Well, here's
JJ's really good
nice about it.
Yeah, JJ's respectful.
I know you got a lot on your plate.
No, JJ's such a nice guy. He reminds me. It says, "Hey, if you're going to Bono's, just let me know." What that means is, "Hey, dumbass, don't forget again." Okay, that's what he's trying to say in a very nice way.
In a very, very nice way.
And by the way, I always translate it and appreciate the words.
Yes. Let's get to the NBA draft. Walter Clayton Jr. has been invited to attend. He is one of 24 players that will attend Wednesday's festivities. Hard to believe the draft is less than a week away, and hopefully Walter Clayton Jr. ends up going to a great spot.
Yeah, I'm glad. I hope he goes. I know there's a danger you get when you're a late round pick, either in football or basketball. Even baseball does it now. When you're a late round pick, there's a chance you get stuck in the green room, and I know that. And he's a guy that could get stuck in the green room, but I kind of hope he goes. And, man, I know I'm a blatant homer. I'm the worst homer ever. I've admitted to it. I'm guilty as charged. But, man, I think he's going to impact the NBA. I'm not saying he's going to be some great NBA player. But, boy, I'd be surprised if he doesn't impact the NBA. Wouldn't you?
I would be. And Todd Golden, as you would expect, said the exact same thing yesterday when he met with reporters. He was like, I'm telling you right now, you're going to look back on this draft in 3-5 years, and people are going to be like, how did Walter Clayton possibly fall to whatever spot he falls to?
I think so, too. And I know I'm a homer, but I think so, too.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see what kind of pro Walter Clayton Jr. develops into. Let's stay with national champion Todd Golden in college basketball. Boogie Flan met with reporters yesterday. Flan says Todd Golden has a standard and it's up to us to meet it. Flan also said he was going to stay in the draft until meeting Golden and hearing his presentation. Todd Golden really could be a special coach.
I'm telling you, I said this yesterday, but we've been saying it. This is a team that in November, not that many months ago, right? 8 months ago, in November, Hayes was okay. Had not won a tournament game in many, many years. Had not factored in the big dance. They finally went last year and were one and done. They were picked to finish 6th in the SEC. They're just an also ran okay program. 8 months later, they're the national champions. They're going to open the season in the top 3 or 4. They're playing all the blue bloods. They're going to have more televised games on ESPN than anybody else. How did this happen? It's still surreal. Even this many years later, that this kind of middling program, I'm sorry, that's what we had become, is on top of the basketball world still. They're still the team everybody's talking about. It's pretty amazing stuff.
It's extraordinary. Let's get into college baseball. The College World Series final is set. LSU stuns Arkansas 6-5, scoring 3 in the 9th on an avalanche of miscues by the Razorbacks. The Tigers will take on Coastal Carolina in the best-of-3 final that starts Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be. Coastal might win that, by the way. It would not surprise. They've won all these games in a row. Watching Arkansas lose the way they lost last night, up 5-3 with one out. Actually, up 5-3 with 2 outs in the 9th, but up 5-3 with 1 out in the 9th. Made a very bad decision. Shortstop had a left fielder drop a ball, and next thing you know, they've lost. So what a gut-wrenching loss it's got to be for Arkansas.
Without a doubt. In the world of golf, the PGA Tour Travelers Championship in Connecticut is going on right now. This is the final signature event of the season. And at 5:32 on a Thursday, I'm ready to call it because Scotty Scheffler is at 9 under through 16 holes. Austin Eckroat had the morning lead at 8 under. He shot 62. Rory McIlroy had a very good day, 6 under 64. U.S. Open champ J.J. Spawn was 2 over through 14. But attaboy JJ, that's what you should be 4 or 5 days removed from winning a U.S. Open. Jordan Spieth withdrew, so hopefully Jordan Spieth is okay. But Scotty Scheffler, 9 under through 16. This one's over.
So you think, and obviously you thought about this, you're not doing this on a whim, but you think if it comes down on Sunday afternoon to Scheffler and Eckroad, this Scheffler's going to win.
That's
kind of where you are.
Yeah.
You think he's going to beat Eckroad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think going into that.
I need more time on that, but
I think particularly since going into Sunday in that final pairing, Scheffler's going to have probably an 8-shot lead by that point, is what I'm thinking. It looks like Scotty Scheffler continuing his torrid season, particularly his torrid last couple of months. Let's get into pop culture. A lot of things to get to today. Mindhunter might be coming back, one of the best shows that I've seen in the last decade on Netflix. It only got 2 seasons. David Fincher is the creative force behind it, the director that went Fight Club, 7. He's done some amazing pictures. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, one of the best creative forces in Hollywood. A Variety report states that Fincher is looking into releasing 3 2-hour-long movies instead of doing a new season. They still have to get the scripts to Fincher's liking, but good news that at least the wheels are in motion, because the last couple of years it's been, Mindhunter, we're not doing that anymore. Netflix thinks it's too expensive. It doesn't get enough views. So Mindhunter is dead. It is one of the best. If you like it's a fictionalized show, but if you like true crime, you will love Mindhunter, and I'm so excited that there is at least a glimmer of hope that we're going to have more content.
I don't know much about it, but you've piqued my interest enough to take a look-see, and I'll be interested to follow the story.
Happy birthday to Mia Sarah, who turns 58 today.
No, see, there you go again, making stuff up. There's no chance Mia Sarah is 50. There's no chance. There's no chance. She's still in high school.
It's hard to believe. Sloane Peterson.
I mean, she skipped high school. She skipped that day in high school. She can't all of a sudden. No, you're wrong. You're lying.
Yep.
You lie a lot on these shows.
I do. This is it's hard to believe for
Sloane
sure.
Peterson is
Sloane
58.
Peterson in Ferris Bueller's Day Off is 58 years old today. Hopefully Mia Sarah having a lovely birthday. It's hard to talk about people that are no longer with us, but a tribute to actor James Gandolfini, who died today back in 2013.
Wow.
It's been 12 years, one of the greatest actors of his generation. It's really a shame that we didn't get more work from him, but obviously...
and certainly created one of maybe the greatest character.
Yes.
On cable in a generation.
Absolutely.
I really believe that. The greatest character on cable TV in a generation.
No doubt about it. So, obviously a tribute to James Gandolfini and the wonderful acting legacy that he leaves behind. We're going to stay on pop culture and celebrate a flashback, because on this date, back in 1981, this happened.
Take my hand and swear eternal loyalty to Zod. He did it to them. I mean, the lights were on out here while he was safe in there.
Hey, you know something? You're a real pain in the neck.
Superman 2 released today back in 1981. I love it. I love the sound of Zod's hand getting just crunched by Superman. Great villains, great sequel. It was cost $54 million to make, made $190 million. The franchise has lost its way since, but Superman 2, a fantastic film.
I would tell you that my favorite in that genre of Superman actor that never got his due because Zod was the bad guy was Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor.
Oh, he's great.
Zod, he goes, my needs are small.
Yep.
Australia.
Yep.
I'm honestly, nobody talks about Hackman in that movie.
Yeah.
Because there's other big storylines in the movie. I love Hackman.
Oh, he's so good. Absolutely in Superman.
My needs are small. How about Australia?
Yep. You have done well, Lex Luthor. We will get you out on our musical nugget of the day. The trailer is out for the new Bruce Springsteen biopic, Deliver Me From Nowhere. The film will be released October 24th. Jeremy Allen White looks the part playing the boss. This is Born to Run. Are you excited about this film?
Let me tell you about that. Give me a second here while this plays. I want to be, okay? I want to be excited about it. I really, really do. Nebraska is by a wide margin my least favorite Springsteen album of all of them. I just don't think it's nearly the work of art people suggested. They got The Wild, the Innocent, These Two Shuffle. They got Born to Run. They got Tunnel of Love. Greetings from Asbury Park. He recorded so many magnificent albums. The River. This wasn't one of his good ones, yet it's about how he, by doing this, it launched him to stardom. It's gonna be, so I'm going to watch it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I didn't love the album, and it's all about that album. So anyway, for what it's worth, but I can't wait to watch it because it's about Springsteen. Great work as always, brother. Those are very good headlines. Back to wrap the program after this.
Just wrap your legs around these velvet rims and strap your hands across my engines.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NASCAR Cup Series will be racing at Pocono Raceway on Sunday. It's the Great American Getaway 400. They'll go 160 laps around the three-turn triangle. Denny Hamlin back at Joe Gibbs Racing after missing last week in Mexico City. He is plus 450 to win at Pocono. He has most wins of any driver at the track with 6. Kyle Larson is plus 600. William Byron plus 700. Ryan Blaney won at Pocono last season. He's plus 750 to capture the checkered flag. Christopher Bell plus 900. Tyler Reddick plus 1,000. As far as NASCAR futures, Kyle Larson plus 350 to win the championship, Christopher Bell plus 450, and Ryan Blaney plus 600. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Oh, no. No.
You okay in there?
Toilet's backed up. It won't flush.
Okay, I'll call the pros.
The tank isn't filling. The handle does nothing. Run for your life.
Don't be so dramatic. Duck Duck Rooter will fix it.
For any plumbing issue, call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Hey, John, have you seen the exciting 2025 lineup at Randy Marion Cadillac?
They've got the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique. It's a Cadillac lover's dream.
And the best part, over 100 new Cadillacs are in stock and ready for you to drive home today.
Plus, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and experience luxury and performance like never before.
Visit us today at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Don't miss out on these incredible vehicles. Your new Cadillac awaits.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Hey, Hickett here for my friends at Zero Res. Gang, vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet, period. Do not, let me repeat, do not leave deep cleaning to yourself, but do it yourself dirt attracting carpet soaking machines. No. Call on the cleaning freaks from Zero Res. Big summer savings. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take 20% off air duct cleaning as well. Call them, 904-287-5727, and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Man, don't let your yard be torn up by that heavy aeration machine this spring. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to learn more about our granular aeration. Broadcast throughout the tree and shrubs to break up that compacted soil. Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
The 2025 season schedule has dropped, and single game tickets are on sale now. Be at the bank to watch Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL. Don't miss your favorite matchup and secure your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. See you this fall, Jags fans.
Yes, sir. That's the best decision. I love it.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
This is Hayes Carline, and I'm so proud of my guy, Leon Searcy.
Man, I used to want to eat all the time, but just 1 month on Physician Guided Weight Loss, and I've already dropped 15 pounds.
And I lost 25. No side effects, just results.
The GLP-1 curbs my cravings and keeps me feeling full. It's been easier than I expected, and I feel amazing.
Their staff is great, and best of all, no surprise costs.
If you're ready to bring sexy back this summer, visit pgweightloss.com.
Physician-guided weight loss, safe, doctor supervised.
And it works.
It's the event everyone waits for. Now at Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. Now for a limited time, when you buy his wedding band, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. Save up to $10,000. Are you about to get married or been married for years thinking it's time for an upgrade? There's nothing that symbolizes your love more than the wedding band. Beard's has hundreds and hundreds of bands from top designers in white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, platinum, plain bands, channel set bands, pave set, eternity bands. And for men, masculine bands, wide, modern, with and without diamonds, hammered, brushed, engraved, lots of colors. Come to Beard's now and find the wedding band that reflects your style and your personality. Buy one, get the second one free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't or won't do this, but Beard's can. And it's happening now through June 23rd. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Don't miss this opportunity to celebrate your eternal love with the eternal symbol. Beard's Diamonds at St. John's Town Center.
Yo, 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 it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
A chipped windshield can turn into a big problem fast. Lauren Brooks here. Trust Novus Glass of Jacksonville for expert repair and replacement. Call 904-289-2905 for Novus Glass in Orange Park. 904-289-2905.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where we've been today, we've talked a little bit about the NBA Finals coming up tonight. Lee Smith stopped by to talk about a fantastic and thrilling U.S. Open final that people are still talking about. We talked about the collapse at by the Arkansas baseball team. God bless them. What a way to end it. And we certainly talk about that today on the program. And we talked about some unforgettable or unbreakable records in college football. We talked a little bit about Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors and about the Jaguars as well. We didn't get to two things that I was going to get to. We'll get to certainly as the weeks go along. Number one, we never really got to other great chokes in sports. We'll do that tomorrow. And Sophie Cunningham, the new star of the WNBA. Your favorite player, you said.
She is my favorite player.
You got the jersey.
I mean, I like Caitlin Clark too, but I mean, Sophie Cunningham. And don't ask. I mean, the list of. I mean, I just don't watch women's basketball. Yeah. But yeah, Sophie Cunningham, I'm a big fan of.
For people that don't know the story, the people just one of the players, I don't even know who it was, hacked Caitlin Clark.
Sort of like slashed her in the eye.
Yeah, kind of poked her in the eye. And the next time when that player came down court, Sophie Cunningham, to defend Caitlin, drilled her like a goon in hockey.
And then pulled her hair.
And then
yanked. Had a great
and all of a sudden,
grip.
Sophie Cunningham is now like the most popular player in the WNBA who's not named Caitlin Clark.
Jersey sold out.
Jersey sold out. So, I mean, that may be the best move of Sophie Cunningham's life. She's going to, I mean, my guess is she's on Ellen next week and writes a book after that, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
You would think. I mean, she's spectacular. So I wish her nothing but the best of luck moving forward.
I know you do. So anyway, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow. But biggest choke in sports, I guess everybody talks about the Falcons.
That's pretty big.
That's the big one.
That's pretty big.
For us Gators, it's the choke at Doak.
Yeah.
But I would say, would the Falcons be the big one? Is that the biggest one? I mean, it was 28-3.
Yeah, I would say.
In the second half.
In one particular night, I think yes. Now the Yankees blowing a 3-0 lead.
To me, that's number one.
In the ALCS.
See your main rival,
but that's
who hasn't
over.
won in 100
You know what's
years.
funny about that? I'm glad you said that. I've never thought of that because that story to me is what an amazing story it is for the Red Sox, the movie Fever Pitch, all the stuff. I never thought about what the choke job it was for the Yankees. That's a good point.
And they've switched positions. Like the Red Sox won how many World Series after that? The Yankees only have one. I'll give you one that happened on this date, I think like 9 years ago. Golden State up 3-1 in 2016 against LeBron. And they had like the greatest regular season record of all time. And Draymond gets suspended and they blow a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Losing Game 7 to Kyrie in the shot.
We talk about the 31-3 choke by the Gators against FSU, and that one gets a lot of attention, obviously. What year was that? What year was it?
94.
94. We talk about that one all the time. One that gets no attention 10 years later.
Brock Berlin.
33-10.
Oh yeah,
he was against his former team.
It was 33-10.
Oh, that one was going to be next for me.
I mean, 33 in the second half.
Yeah, Florida ran back to kickoff to start the second half.
Yeah, up 33-10.
Yeah,
and
just collapsed.
And collapsed right after. Yeah, Ingle Martin is your quarterback. Then that was probably the beginning of the end for my friend Ron Zook. Unfortunately, that was a tough loss. So
there was for Florida State. There was the Jacksonville State Hail Mary.
Yeah. That was pretty.
That was a nice little choke job there.
Yes, it was. Well said. Let's say hello to Hacker.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
I figured bringing up the choke and doke would make you happy.
Choke and doke was good. I was there. I was there.
I was too.
Yeah, I was there. I just turned 11.
Is that
as a matter of fact?
I was a little older.
Yeah,
but I was there.
Just turned 11, so I got that one. The Swindle in the Swamp. Still haven't forgiven Jack Childress. It's been 22 years.
But the choke and doke, I was literally standing back then. The Florida coach's box. I was standing like right under it, and it was open.
Yeah,
and I could hear him talking, and I could hear Bob Pruitt yelling, arguing with all the other defensive coaches.
I remember talking to Fred Weary about that. Fred from Mandarin High School lives here in town. This was years and years ago on the radio, and I asked him. I said, if Florida State would have gone for 2 at 31-30, what would have happened? And Fred said something along the lines of, they would have walked in.
They would have.
We were done.
Yeah, but you know what? He did the right thing by not.
Yeah.
Because he had already won. Florida State had already won by tying the game. And people said Bowden should have
look how you're talking about it right now.
It's a loss.
These years later.
It is a loss.
And he knew that. And Bowden knew that he had already won the game by tying the game. And so going for, because if you go for 2 and don't make it,
right,
it's all for naught.
It's all for naught.
Yeah.
And I assume you're talking about this because of the Arkansas kid last night.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for that kid.
The left fielder.
Oh my God, Charles Davalons, I believe is his name.
Yeah, a name that none of us would have known.
Oh, just the way that. And by the way, he should have never been in that position because there should have been a double play, and then the inning would have been over anyway. You know, that kid, it's not Steve Bartman level because that was, NLCS. But in Arkansas circles, he's going to be talked about forever.
Well, not only that, Hacker, I made the point earlier in the program that God bless Charles Davalon's soul, but if it happened one night earlier, there's the hockey.
Right.
If it happened one night later, there's the NBA. It happened in a time of year. There's nothing else on.
Right.
So
Terrible.
Scott Van Pelt leads with it.
Yeah.
It's the big story in America. Poor guy.
Oh.
Nobody knew. You know what I mean? If it happened, we were talking about Clint Sterner putting the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
But at least that's in the middle of football season. This happened. It's the only story in sports. Poor Charles Davalon. You would have never known his name.
No.
I would have never known it. Now we'll all know his name.
The Clint Sterner thing still baffles me. I thought the ground couldn't cause a fumble. Well, the ground caused a fumble on that one, did it not?
A little different.
I know his knees were up, but literally the ground caused the fumble. I've never understood that.
Yeah, well, I think the ground can cause a fumble if no part of your body touches
it. Well, then maybe they need to clarify that for me. Yes.
I'm with you. But by the way, we're all still bitter, so I'm right with you.
Yeah.
What's coming up tonight?
Oh, we got a lot coming up. JP Shadrick, Jaguars.com, Jaguars Radio is going to join us. And Andrew Ivins is the National Scouting Director, 247sports.com. He's actually out in L.A. at the Elite 11 camp. So we're going to talk Billy Napier, little Mike Norvell, recruiting. And Florida had Will Griffin out there, the quarterback committed from St. Petersburg. He is good. I'm going to talk to Andrew Ivins about all that out in L.A. at the 24/7 quarterback 11 camp.
All right. Hacker Day comes right now. Hacker After Dark comes up right now. Thanks, Hack. That'll do it for our program. We'll be out of here. Same bat time, same bat time channel tomorrow. For Hayes and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.